This upcoming weekend from Friday, February 21st at 8 a.m. until Monday, February 24th at 10 p.m., Niantic is going to be hosting a special friendship event. As part of that, they're going to be offering double candy for trades completed during the event, as well as half Stardust cost for completing those trades. So we're going to have to know, one, what Pokemon are we interested in trading to get those extra candy rewards, and then secondly, what Pokemon do we need to trade in order to maximize the amount of candy that we're receiving for each of those special trades during the event. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, trainers. My name is Oro Chris. I am your catching coach. And the first thing we're going to need to do in order to maximize this event is, one, identify what Pokemon do we have in our storage that we're interested in getting extra candy for. Now, me personally, what I do is I have marked the Pokemon that I've identified as being high candy interest. Things like Dino, Gibble, Cranidos, things that we're not going to see much of in the wild, but we are interested in getting as many candies as possible so that we can build that Rampardos Wrecking Crew for those Tier 4 raids and things like that. So what I've done is I've marked all of those Pokemon that I'm particularly interested in accruing extra candy for with the identifier QQQ. Pick the identifier that best suits your wants and needs. And what this does is in an instant I can then look and say, hey John, I heard that you went to Florida last week. Did you catch any Pokemon there? I've got some Pokemon I'd like to get extra candy for. Can we do a trade? Now, as you may be aware, typically when you're trading a Pokemon that was caught in close proximity to each other, you're each going to receive one candy for the type of Pokemon that you're attempting to trade. For example, if I trade a Cranidos to my friend and he trades me a Gibble, and they were both caught here in the local area less than 10 kilometers apart from each other, I would receive one Cranidos candy for the trade and he would get the Cranidos. I would receive the Gibble in the trade and he would get a Gibble candy. Now, if the Pokemon that we're trading were caught at least 10 kilometers apart from each other, we would get 2 candies. And if they were caught at least 100 kilometers away, then we would receive 3 candies for that trade. And of course, during this double candy event this upcoming weekend, that now turns into 6 candies, and very quickly some very fast candy accrual can happen if we maximize this weekend's event. So in order to do that, once you've identified what Pokemon you're most interested in getting extra candy for, and these are things that are either low level, don't have the right IV combination, you've already got the gender dex for the male and you want the female, whatever, mark them with the QQQ or your own identifier, and then you're ready to go. Now, after that, we need to identify what Pokemon do we have in our storage that are going to be at least 100 kilometers away from our current location. And the reason for that is if our friend just caught a Cranidos and he wants to trade it to get the extra 3 candy, I need to be able to trade him something from far away so that he actually gets that maximized 6 candy for the trade. So in order to do that, I've got text replacement at the ready, and for me I've typed in DDD because distance D just made sense, and the search string, which I will put down in the comments below, has screened out what Pokemon that are in my storage that have been traded, because once they've been traded, i.e. I received them in a trade, they can't be traded again, so we don't want to look at those. We need to know what Pokemon were caught at least 100 kilometers away. That's that next search, distance, and then 100 to, you can't see the rest of it, but I wrote 50,000. So any Pokemon that was caught between 100 kilometers away and 50,000 kilometers away will appear. But we also potentially are holding on to these Pokemon for a reason. Potentially they were things that we actually, not just for the distance benefit for the trade, but because we actually wanted the Pokemon for its own intrinsic value. Things that potentially had a special move from a raid weekend. Things that were shinies, things that would otherwise trigger a special trade, so we can only trade them 1 time per day, and as a result we wouldn't be able to use them for as many distance trades as we want to during this event. So I've added into the search string down below things that will screen out for example, perfect IVs, Pokemon that are shadow Pokemon because they can't be traded. Pokemon that are, for example, purified Pokemon, that would also trigger it to be a special trade, and we can only complete one of those per day. So check out the comment down below. The entire search string is there. You can add your personal additions to it. If you want to screen for legendaries, include that. If you want to screen for mythicals, include that. Sometimes it's nice to get the extra trade distance, extra candies for the legendaries. If you've got Articuno that you caught at GoFest, it might be worth it to trade it this weekend for the extra trade candy event. But that about wraps it up. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but is definitely a good starting point in order to identify what Pokemon are in your storage that you can trade for that extra trade distance. So go through your storage, complete some of those searches, identify some Pokemon that are worth trading, one for the extra candy for yourself, as well as what Pokemon that you can find to offer to a friend so that they can get the benefit as well. And if you're interested in Pokemon Go competitive PvP and basically anything Pokemon related, please consider subscribing to the channel and enjoy this weekend.